It was the coldest night of the year, and that's when she appeared. No one knew her name. No one knew where she had come from. But the words she spoke that night would change the fate of an entire town. Snow fell in heavy sheets, blanketing the small mountain town of Eden Ridge in icy silence. Christmas lights flickered in windows, families gathered around fireplaces, and laughter echoed from warm homes. But outside, on the edge of Main Street, a young woman stood barefoot in the snow. Her thin shawl did nothing to shield her from the biting wind. Her lips trembled. Her skin was blue. She knocked on door after door, her voice cracking with desperation. "Please. I don't need much. Just a corner to sleep in tonight, please." But door after door was shut in her face. Some turned her away politely. Others shouted. One woman closed her curtains as if the girl's suffering was an eyesore that might stain her evening peace. The girl had no name to offer, no ID, no money. Just a bundle of rags and two haunting brown eyes that told of hunger, of sleep stolen by fear, and of a promise she had kept hidden inside her chest for far too long. And still, she knocked. In the cozy warmth of the town diner, Old Man Harris looked up from his black coffee. The man was nearing 70, a retired carpenter who kept mostly to himself since his wife passed away. He noticed the girl through the frost-covered window, kneeling near the steps of the church, hugging her knees. He muttered, "Someone's gotta do something," but he didn't move. Not yet. Because in Eden Ridge, people had grown cautious. Too many stories of scams, of strangers taking advantage. And especially tonight, on Christmas Eve, nobody wanted trouble. Just across the street, 10-year-old Danny Matthews tugged at his mother's sleeve as they exited the grocery store. "Mom, that girl, she's freezing." But his mother pulled him along. "Danny, come on. We don't know her. It's dangerous. She's crying, Mom." His mother didn't answer. Night deepened. The wind howled. And the girl collapsed outside the chapel steps. That's when Pastor John opened the door. He had seen her from the upstairs window and rushed out with a blanket. "Dear God," he whispered, as he wrapped her trembling body in warmth. "You're freezing." "I'm sorry," she gasped. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." He helped her inside. The church wasn't heated well, but it was better than the streets. She didn't ask for food, though her stomach groaned. She didn't ask for pity, though her eyes welled with silent tears. She asked only for one thing: "Let me stay until sunrise. Please." Pastor John agreed. He laid her down in the small storeroom behind the altar, gave her a pillow and a wool coat. But before she fell asleep, she whispered something that would echo in his mind for days. "If you let me live, if I make it through this night, I'll change everything. I'll give this town something they lost long ago." The next morning, Christmas Day, she was gone. Just a folded note on the pillow. "Thank you. You showed me one door still opens. I promise you'll understand soon. Nora." The town forgot about her quickly. A few murmured that she might have been an addict. Others thought she was an angel. Most just shrugged and went on with their lives. But Pastor John, he couldn't forget. Neither could Danny. Weeks passed. Then months. Spring came, and with it, something unusual. A tent appeared at the edge of town. A small banner was raised. The Table of Hope, free meals, no questions. At first, people were suspicious. But the food smelled good. And the volunteers were kind. A few curious folks tried it out: warm stew, fresh bread, and soft music playing on an old speaker. Then came the second tent. Repair station, bring anything broken. Run by an old man with shaky hands and eyes that knew pain. It was Old Man Harris. And then a third. Children's corner, stories, snacks, shelter. Run by Danny's mother, who had changed after a letter was slipped under her door weeks earlier. A letter from a girl named Nora. But who was Nora? She never returned to town, at least not openly. But once a month, a package would arrive at the church: boxes of supplies, envelopes of cash, and handwritten notes. Each note signed, Nora. I kept my promise. Eventually, word spread beyond Eden Ridge. People from nearby towns came to see the miracle of kindness. Donations poured in. The table of hope expanded. A proper shelter was built. A women's center opened. And then one day, nearly a year after that snowy night, on the anniversary of her arrival, a figure walked into the chapel during Sunday service. She wore a clean dress. Her hair was no longer matted. Her eyes still held that same deep brown sadness, but this time, they shined with strength. It was Nora. The congregation gasped. Pastor John stepped down from the altar, unable to speak. She smiled, gently. I made a promise. And you believed in me, when no one else did. I wasn't just asking for shelter that night. I was asking for a reason to live. She paused. I was raised in foster homes. Lived on the streets. I was taught that people only help when there's something in it for them. That night, I wanted to believe someone still had heart. And you showed me. Nora continued, her voice breaking, so I spent every day working odd jobs, saving every penny, reaching out to people who once helped me. Together, we built what you now see. I don't want anything in return. Just one thing, keep opening your doors. Don't shut out someone because they look poor, or lost, or broken. Sometimes, they carry miracles. And with that, she left again. But this time, she didn't vanish. She became a legend, yes, but a living one. Stories of the girl in the snow spread far and wide. She came back now and then quietly, to restock, to train others, to tell stories to the children. And every time the wind howled through Eden Ridge, and the snow came down hard, the townsfolk remembered one thing. That sometimes, a single act of kindness can ignite a revolution. And that the girl who once shivered in the cold had kept her promise. She had changed everything.